So you can see what I'm doing here. Thank you for watching. I am cutting a template out for the sea deck that we're going to be putting on the boat. I've got this plastic that I got from the Ace Hardware. It's just 20 mil thick plastic. I've cut out these already templates from it. I traced it with a black Sharpie, and now I'm cutting out the template here, and at the end it looks like this. I bought a $75 roll of EVA foam from Amazon that looks like that, like a faux teak. And then I cut out the template, clean it with alcohol, and it's sticky adhesive bottom. So you can see the corners aren't perfect, but overall I think it looks pretty clean, and it saves you about 400% from buying it from any of the manufacturers that measure it and send it to you. So just a tip, give it a shot, it's worth it. Now you can see I've labeled them right bottom, left bottom, and I've marked where it's got to line up at the top. And obviously you have to make sure that your grain is going the same way if you're going to lay the pieces next to each other and that it matches. So this is the next step, trace the template onto the foam. I'm using this tool, which is just a very sharp, kind of exact knife, and I just lay it on top of a dead piece that I'm not using, and now I'm just cutting out the template where I made the impressions. And I used a pencil. I tried using a permanent marker to do the stencil, but it's a little flimsy when you're trying to write with it and hold the plastic still so you make the template right. So I would recommend using a pencil, maybe a thick pencil that writes a little bit wide so that it makes an impression on here, big enough for you to be able to see it. I mean, I can see it, and it's bright enough. You can see from the cup holder and kind of indentation that I made there that you can see it. It's just a little bit harder. You got to push a little bit harder, and it's a little bit harder then to hold the plastic template in place while you're doing the tracing. But overall it works once you push down into the foam. And I have a darker teak foam, so I would assume that if you were using, or if you were doing the lighter foam, because they do make a lighter, almost more of a natural wood look, that would certainly show up a little bit brighter than this does. This is almost the same color as the pencil. And then once you get it out, I do come around and typically try and clean up a little bit where it's jagged. But like I showed you in the initial view of the part that I already did, it's not going to be perfect because I'm not using a machine to cut it like they do in these factories. But for, as I said, 400% savings and the likelihood that this is probably going to get ripped, dirty, come off, something like that over the next couple of years, to buy another $75 roll of EVA foam and keep the templates, which is what I did, just so you have an extra laying around. Easy enough to replace, and then you keep going. I'll show you what it looks like when I adhere it to the bottom now. Just to give you a sample of what this looks like when it's done, this is the back, which I did a few weeks back, and it turned out fantastic from my opinion. We did a really good job laying it down, and it turned out perfect. I couldn't be happier with it. Now the key is to take this alcohol and clean the surface with it as best you can. You want to get it as tacky and as dry as you can. As you can see, there's like a kind of a sandy type finish on here, and it's not very sticky, so it's not easy to stick to it, so that's why you really got to make sure it's clean. Now, obvious to some, but obviously I always line it up first to make sure it looks all right in the spot. And you can see I did go a little short on this here, so I'm not sure how I'm gonna fix that up there, but I might just leave it because it is it is what it is. I might clean it up a little bit back in the house, but you can see that it doesn't really, it actually came out with kind of a line there, so I'll probably fix that and then just scoot it back a little bit. So next video I'll show you how I peel off the backing and stick it down. So now you can see I've cleaned up that edge to make it straight and just push it back a little bit, so it should line up fine. It actually lines up better with the other ones when I do that. So now we're going to pull off the stickies. So obviously, just like any other sticker, you peel off the back. Make sure you line it up before you stick it, because it is sticky for sure. And don't touch it, because that ruins it as well, come to find out. So see, I went a little bit too deep there, and now I want it to line up so it's even on both sides and straight, right? And it looks like I need to come a little bit to the right here, but you can see how fast. Now another thing about this roll comes super tight rolled from Amazon, and it is hard to lay out, but I tell you what, as soon as you set it in the sun, that stuff flattens out so fast, and it gives you a really nice surface to stick. And guys, it is hard to line this up perfect, so give yourself a little slack, but do the best you can to line it up, because that's where you'll notice it the most. And then I kind of stick it down just so it sticks, but I'll come back after that and really give it a good step on it, push it, rub it. Sounds like a Belle Biv DeVoe song from back in the 90s. Any of you are my age? So I will. This one is a little bit easier because it actually has a template I'm laying it on, but it also needs to be very straight to line up with this other one, because if it doesn't, as I said, you will notice. I don't even know if you guys can see me pushing this on there, but it's not rocket science, but figured you'd want to see how it looks during the process and what it looks like when it's done, and save yourself hundreds if not thousands of dollars doing this yourself like I did. And guys, I didn't want to do my whole boat because quite frankly the carpet is much easier to keep clean. Just take it out and you can clean it, vacuum it, snap it, and you don't have to constantly mess with replacing it. But this stuff looks super cool. So I'll give you the full walkthrough of the boat when I'm done in just a second. All right, and this is the look. So you can see my seats actually go over the top of it. Makes it a little bit tackier for the seat to hold too. So this is my 2001 Sea Ray Sun Deck 210. Almost looks brand new.